everyone, today we're tying the Opal Caddis. This is a really simple, effective imitation of caddis we find in northern Michigan. This will work in the spring through the summer for tan, olive caddis, whatever have you, and it works as a great attractor. Set your hook in the vise, make sure it's secure. Today we're using a 001 from Umpqua. Great value hook. Usually you get 50 in a pack instead of just 25. Just some 6/0 white here. You can use tan if you like. I'm not too worried about thread color. Start your thread about an eye length back. Wrap to the halfway point. Or grab some Flashabou Mirage. You can also get this as a tinsel. Both work well. Okay, fold those fibers in half, trim, pinch wrap them on top of the hook there, 2 good wraps. I always like to leave some excess here so it's a lot easier to trim them off. If you leave them really tight, it's tough to trim. All right, wrap all the way back to about the barb, pretty close, great. Wrap back up to your tie-in point. Trim that excess. Now, you can build a tapered body if you want, or you can just wrap your Opal Flashabou ready to go. I'm going to build a quick tapered body just so you see what that looks like. And it's simply just working your thread back and forth. But you don't want to go quite as far each time. Great. Finish your thread about an eye length back. Grab your Mirage or your Opal tinsel and start wrapping. Now try and keep them all together. When you're using 4 strands like I am, sometimes they like to separate. But it doesn't have to be perfect. This is more of an attractor version than a real specific imitation. Capture those with about 3 behind. Trim your excess. And return your thread back to about that eye length back. And this is the fun part. Now we're going to use some bull elk hair. You can also use deer hair. You can use just about whatever you like. Bull elk, though, is really, really fun to play with. It flares well. Just use what you have and we'll move forward. Trim a chunk larger than you think you'll need because there's going to be some excess. You're going to pull away a lot of fluff like that. You don't want any of that. If you have one, this is a great time to use a deer hair or hair comb that removes a lot of that fluff. Great. Set the tips in your stacker. Remove. Grasp those tips so they're all together. Now we can measure. Now I've put a little bit too much hair in here, and this is kind of a feel thing. Eventually you'll get the hang of it. Tie a bunch of these. The fish aren't going to notice the difference. But I'll tell you, with too much hair, sometimes it's really tough to get a good cinch on there, and you'll want to spin. All right, that looks a little bit nicer. We're going to measure this to 1 shank length. If they extend beyond a little bit, don't worry about it. Transfer that measurement to your left hand. Come in with your scissors. Trim that excess. Now you should have a little nub right here, and that's what we're going to tie in. So set that on top of the shank. I always set the hook between my fingers, so it's really braced there. Now come up, we're doing pinch wraps again. 1 loose, and then pull tension up, down, more tension, I like to come in and give it 1, 2 wraps maybe into those butts. Okay, now with your thumbnail, you can fold this little butt section up, or you can use your scissors. Now pinch that and bring the thread forward, because you got to tie down on the shank of the hook. It doesn't help to tie down right onto the butts. Bring in your whip finisher, 4 or 5 turn whip finish, trim your thread, bring that baby out. Make sure you don't have too many errant fibers, but this looks pretty good. All right, give it a try, let us know what you think. Again, you can use some hackle on this just like you would an Elk Hair Caddis. It'll work well in rough waters, some of the Boardman sections lower down in the Manistee where you have some riffles. But this catches tons of fish just as it is because it rides low in the water. Try it out, catch some fish. Thanks for watching, we'll see you out there.